Welcome to the apex of sports ownership, the Apex Athletic Collective.
Man, I forgot to add us. Here we are. New software. What's up, man?
Man, I love it. I love the new setup, dude. So much easier to
It's so much
check.
easier. Well,
Man,
welcome, Spacely. Good to have you, brother.
yes.
We've been off a couple weeks, and now we're back. So I'm happy to say that we got a lot to talk about tonight.
Oh yeah.
We've been off a couple weeks. We had the tryout this week. We had the jersey vote this week. We're going to talk a little bit about the jerseys. We got all kinds of stuff going on, but we usually end the show with some sort of like big news.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I wanted to ask you a question. Could we start with big news tonight?
I think it's the best way to go about it today. I think probably the biggest news we've had out of the big news. So yeah, I think probably best to kick it off with the.
All right. Well, let's actually start with the segment big news. What do you say?
Let's do it, man.
All right. So I got it working. Did you see that? That was flawless.
Yes,
So this week we had our tryout. Went really well. We had some really great players show up, right?
Sure.
But we made a decision on one player in particular, right? And so why don't you talk to us a little bit about what's happened since last Sunday?
Yeah, so man, like you said, there's been a lot of big, honestly, last week has been huge in general. We got our official jersey design finally voted on, and we have it selected, and that's a huge plus. But really, outside of that, the main focus has been heading towards our first tryout event and getting everybody in the loop around that end on the Patreon level, in the community, and just all hands have been on deck on that part, right? So leading up to that, we got off the call. We got out of the tryout event and got on a call, and there was one guy that really stood out the most. Obviously, there's a couple other guys that are definitely still in the loop and we're in discussion on at the moment, but there was one guy by the name of Joe Bird, and he was definitely our standout player. And there you see it right there live. We've officially signed our first contract as a franchise. The Hoosier State Instigators have signed Joe Bird. I'll save a lot of the minor details. We'll get into that in about a couple seconds because we've also got Joe Bird sitting in backstage waiting to introduce himself to the community and to the fan base. So,
what do you say? Let's bring him on.
Without further ado, let's do that, man. Yes, sir.
Oh, what's up, man?
Hey guys, how are you? Great to be here.
Great to have you, man.
Everybody.
Yeah, welcome to the show. Welcome to the Instigators. Expansion franchise with the coolest name and the coolest logo. We're excited to have you.
Somebody's got some software engineering going on here.
I know, right? There's a lot of buttons to push around here. But it's dope. So tell us and tell the fans a little bit about you, Joe. How'd you get into this crazy world of ABA basketball?
Well, I started my basketball. I didn't play basketball. I'm from Mississippi, first and foremost. I'll start it off.
Okay.
I'm from Mississippi, and I moved up to Indiana after Hurricane Katrina, actually. I was a Hurricane Katrina victim. I lost my house, stayed in a FEMA trailer for 2 years. And then my family had some friends and family up here, so we decided to move up here and try it out, up to Bloomington, Indiana. And I've been here ever since about freshman year of high school.
Nice.
Went to Bloomington South, played there, 2 state championships, 2009 and 2011. After that, me and my coach, we had a little, rough times, but I ended up going to play basketball at Vincent's, and then I transferred to Lincoln Trail, which are both junior colleges. And then I went to Oakland City University, which is a D2 in, Oakland City, actually. It's about, I remember Princeton for some reason because it was so close to there and nobody knows what Oakland City is.
Yeah.
So I went there and then I went to, well, I was going to go to IUPUI. I got ready and everything was situated and then I just gave up, honestly. I figured I'd need to get a job because I didn't think school was for me. I wasn't a big school person. It wasn't that I wasn't good with grade. I had good grades and everything. I didn't get what I thought I would get out of school. I didn't learn the things that I thought I needed to know to survive in life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I ended up working and I was a bricklayer for a while. Now I'm a lineman. So I work on the power line. So you're welcome for all your power and internet.
That's right.
So you can get on this podcast. No,
that's right.
Yeah.
And good trade union jobs too.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
For sure. Well, I've always wanted to help people, you know, and coming from Hurricane Katrina and being a part of a situation where you don't have any power and like you see linemen come in there and then they help you by restoring your power, you know, to me that stuck with me and I always thought about it and that's what I ended up doing, you know what I mean? But as far as basketball, I've always wanted to get back into it and I never quit playing, but I just never I never really pursued it like I should have, you know what I mean? And then like now I'm to the point in life where like you always think back about what you could have done or what you should have done. And I'm like, well, you know, it's never too late. You might as well do it now before it's too late. And then you're old and you're going to be like, gosh, I could have just tried one more time. I could have gave it one more shot and I might have, you know, did something. So now that's where I'm at in my life to where I'm like, okay, now's the time. If you're going to do it, it's now or never.
Yes, sir.
So I'm like, give her a shot.
So well, you showed.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
You showed out at the tryout, so you looked awesome.
Sure.
You had, I think, too. You have, you played for other pro leagues too, right? Didn't you play for the TBL? Is that right?
Yeah, I played for the Owensboro Thoroughbreds.
Okay.
But
a very Kentucky name.
Yeah, for sure. Thoroughbred. But honestly, actually, I only played one game there.
Okay.
Just because they asked me to play, and I was like, yeah, I mean, I'll play. And then I was gonna try and go to the Medora, the Timberjacks or whatever, because they're only like 30 minutes away from my house.
Okay, yeah.
But I just really, at that point, I was really busy. I was on Storm, and I was doing a whole lot of stuff, and it wasn't a good timing. So I didn't pursue that. And the church that I go play at, actually, like I go play rec ball and little recreational leagues I go play in, and the coordinator of that was like, hey, you should go try out for this team. And I was like, well, might as well.
That's cool. Yeah.
I'll go do it. You know what I mean? And for me, the biggest thing is getting back in basketball shape. Like I'm in shape, but I'm not in basketball shape. There's a complete difference. Like you can be in shape, but basketball shape is completely different.
Right.
So that's my biggest thing is like to really get back into it and get in shape. Because I mean, I can play. There's no. Yeah, I'm not worried about the playing, but it's just how long can I play?
Yeah. You know, we're playing 12-minute quarters. You know,
long. For sure.
How did it feel when Coach had you all out there running at the beginning of that tryout? Man, it felt like he was running you all pretty hard.
For sure, and I was. I told a couple players before. I was like, honestly, man, if I have to run. Because when he said go to the baseline, in my mind, I was thinking 32-second down suicides. And I'm like, oh, God. I'm like,
First day in.
This is going to work. Like, it's been years since I've done a suicide.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I remember how to do it. But I mean, honestly though, it really wasn't that bad, and I'm not like in terrible shape.
No, sure. Yeah. No, but you're not. Yeah.
It's not like it's gonna take me long to get in shape either, because being a lineman, I gotta climb poles.
Right.
So
yeah,
you can't be too out of shape climbing poles. You know,
that's the truth. Yeah.
So I'm just excited. I'm ready to get back to it. You know, I haven't played organized basketball in years, so this will be. But besides like rec leagues, but you know the competition there and what you're doing. Yeah, I'm just pretty much just shooting from the volleyball line every time.
Yeah.
So I'm not really.
I think you and coach are definitely going to gel together throughout the throughout the preseason leading into the season for sure, but definitely throughout the season. I think it was one of our key points to get you signed so early is just to kind of get you into a program as quick as possible. You know, not necessarily day one jump in and get into it, but kind of work around your needs and kind of get you back into shape along those lines as well. So I think that's going to be perfect on your end, dude. So he is definitely like the expert on that end of things on our end, I guess I should say. I'm sure you guys will have a lot more time to talk and go through all of that together, but yeah, I'm really excited to see that part too. See everything kind of come together on that end. It's going to be sweet.
And he made it a big point that he was a strength and conditioning coach, and so that's a super positive. You know, a lot of the times the coaches are just old men that don't do anything anymore but coach, and he's in shape himself. So you're more likely to listen to a person that's actually going through it as well than somebody who hasn't worked out in 30 years.
I told Corey, just this is more like an off-air conversation, but we'll do it live. But I told Corey, I was like, man, I probably gained. I've been boxing for the past, like 10, 15 years, really, I guess, when you add in middle school and everything like that. And past year and a half, I got into kickboxing about 2 years ago. Ended up fracturing my foot, and that kind of put me on the sideline for a little bit. And about a year and a half, man, I haven't been training, and I've gained, no joke, probably about 30 pounds. I was small at the time, don't get me wrong, like about 135. So I probably needed, now I needed probably about 10 to 20 of those pounds, don't get me wrong. But I told Corey, I was like, man, I need to get coach to make me a program. I got to get back right. This ain't going to last, man.
I actually do a little jujitsu now and then for workout, and that is a very good workout.
Oh,
I bet.
Definitely good workout.
Yes, sir.
You have to go up against another person. Oh,
I think jiu-jitsu is like one of those sports that teaches you about everything in life. There's things that you could take from jiu-jitsu that you can implement into just day-to-day life and also basketball, just certain reads on things and everything and how to adjust to those. And, so that's really cool to hear, man.
And respect.
That definitely. Yes, sir. Oh, yeah. For sure. Yes, sir. Yeah.
So, Joe, I don't want to take up too much of your time tonight. I appreciate you coming on. I do, though, want to get your opinion on one thing.
Okay.
So we allow our fans a ton of access to the team and a ton. So we have fans the fans that subscribe to our Patreon that watch the show, like Jason, who's commenting, they actually vote on key things for our team, right? Okay. They get to see tryout footage. They get to see practice footage. They get to watch the games live. But the very first huge vote they had was we had a huge August madness of jerseys. So our fans submitted home jerseys, and then they got to vote on which jersey was the winning jersey. That actually happened the same day that you tried out. So I'm going to pull up the winning jersey. I just want to get your take on it.
Gotcha.
And see what you think. Here we go. So this is the home jersey for the 2024 Instigators. Designed and voted on by the fans. What do you think?
They've got good taste.
Yeah,
for sure. The design
mine was
really
better.
good.
It didn't win, but mine was better, believe me. But this,
we all have our opinions.
Yeah. That's right. But yeah, I thought they did a good job. Just like you have full-time job, everyone that helps on this team, right? We all have full-time jobs. We're all trying to like get our career and our family life straight. So it's really awesome to have a community come together and design, a really cool looking jersey that honestly was way better.
So who came up with the mascot actually?
Oh, that's a good question. Spacely, you want to talk about it?
Yeah. So technically that's another thing that we actually had a lot of fan input in on before we even established the franchise itself. So Corey and I, we've done a lot of work in another sports league, more as on a fan level basis, but it's called Fan Controlled Football, and we have a team that we're really well. He's got the hat on. Actually, I see it right now. Glacier Boys.
Okay.
They their model is fairly similar to our model with the ownership group, is to where like fans could come in, control the show basically week to week. We would have similar to like fantasy drafts, but in real life. So you get one keeper per week, I think, for like 3 weeks. So you build a core of your roster, but then the rest of it is like an open draft pool, and it's based on
real players.
Yeah,
like a real arena football league.
And a lot of them have been very successful, like Cavante Turpin. He's playing for the Dallas Cowboys right now. A lot of guys got XFL looks last year and things along those lines. So that was like a really good experience just to get a lot of like networking connections with those athletes as well. Nice. But basically, to make a longer story short, we have another fan that's in the same fan group as us for the Glacier Boys, and his name's Caleb, but we call him Waleb.
Right.
And he, at the time, he was a 15-year-old kid. And the thing about like the Glacier Boys is we do a lot of instigating, like a lot, And he was like, they were talking about the idea of making a league called Fan Controlled Hoops, making kind of branching off of football and going into basketball as well, right?
In the same direction, right?
Right. Yeah. Yep. And he was like, man, they haven't had any official name votes or anything along those lines. And this is, like I said, about a year or so ago now. Close to 2 years, really. But he was like, it'd be really cool to have a team called the Instigators, to where like everybody branches off of, you could be a fan of this football team or another, yada, yada, but basketball is a whole new thing, right?
Right.
And, anybody who wants to be a part of the Instigators, you kind of already get the process. You're going to come in, you're going to have some smack talk, but yada, yada, right?
Yes.
He's like, it'd be really cool to have a team named the Instigators. So we approached him with the idea of making the Instigators our very first franchise in the ABA, not necessarily tied in with Fan Control Sports or anything along those lines, but with our own official franchise that you could come in and have that same power as an owner, as a fan, but the I kind of jumped ahead actually. So it's
I'm glad you're making a long story short, man.
It's making a long story shorter. I'll put it that way. But basically, Waleb, he mentioned the idea, and we have a designer in that community as well named 2Z Designs, and he just out of the blue drops a logo very, very similar to our logo at that time. We had a little bit of tweaking here and there to make it our official logo when that time came, and made the licensing agreements and all of those things along that line. But it was basically the vision of the logo came from a fan just bringing up the idea and saying, we should make this a team. And then we approached him.
What actually is it? Is it like an alligator or like a crocodile or dinosaur, dragon?
It's an instigator, we don't
it's
know.
An instigator.
Gotcha.
It's
It's a Seahawk. I don't know.
I got you.
Yeah.
It's something like that.
I got you. I'm from Mississippi, so I'm all down with the alligators.
Yeah.
So that's fine.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I grew up 5 miles away from alligator farm, so.
Oh, damn. Yeah, so it's cool though. Yeah, we let our fans just kind of name everything and take votes on it, as long as it's legal and stuff like that. And we ended up with this off of that, fan suggestion and a designer that we knew that made it. And, we love it. And, we're going to be instigating in Clinton this fall.
Yes, sir.
Team. So
yes,
for sure. I'm an instigator, so it's fine with me. That's all.
There you go. You fit right in, man.
Yes, sir. It's perfect.
Right on. Well, Joe, we're going to let you go, but thank you so much for hopping on tonight. Thank you so much for becoming a part of the Instigators and listening to that rec league coordinator and coming to our tryout. We appreciate it, man.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I can't wait to see you in October as we start practicing, and then in November in games.
So, yes, sir.
Well, it's good to meet you.
Yes, sir.
Well, and I've already met you.
Yep. We met on Sunday, but nice to see you again. And we'll see you soon.
Yeah, yes, you guys have a good one. Have a good night.
You too.
Later. You too, buddy. Yes, sir.
Dude, how fucking cool is Joe?
Man, it's the perfect choice, man. Just to get, man, I'm so hyped. I want to jump through my screen right now, dude. So where we at now? What else we got for these guys, man?
Well, let's talk about the tryout at large. The rest of the tryout. Obviously we signed Joe. Joe's the one signing so far out of the tryout. Not to say that other guys won't get signed out of that tryout. In fact, I think there's a possibility for a number of them later this month.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's talk a little bit about the pros and cons of what went well, what didn't go well about that tryout, right?
Yeah, sure. So I'll leave that floor. I'll let you start because you were on site. I'm sure you got a little bit more insight on that part than I do. But I'll definitely give you my outsider's perspective and everything. So,
let's I always I'm really positive. So I'm gonna start with all the negative stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's what I do. First of all, Jason asked, does Joe have any socials? Joe doesn't have any socials. We got to get that man on social.
Yeah.
So we'll be working on it with him. But he doesn't currently. So here's the thing, like working with local arena is really nice, and working in a small town is really nice because we believe that town is going to latch onto this team and really show it the love it deserves. Rural Indiana has its downsides. So Joe, right, is a lineman, works full time. I work full time. You work sometimes, I guess. The rest of everyone works full time that's into this. That includes the people that run the arena.
Yeah.
Right? So Cody, who's the manager of the arena, the director, super great, super into it. He was actually on the floor. So if you see a guy that looked about 5'6", a little bit wider than most of the other guys, that was
not me.
That was actually the director of the arena there, right? And they have a board that's all like volunteers. And so information sometimes doesn't pass very quickly. One good example of that is the Wi-Fi password.
Ah, man.
We couldn't get the Wi-Fi password. We still don't have it, which is why we couldn't stream. And folks are like, oh, why didn't you stream over data? There was no reception in this gym at all. Only thing, maybe T-Mobile had 2 bars. So we're going to bring a T-Mobile hotspot as a backup. We're told that they're going to have a Wi-Fi password for us in October, but that's why the live stream wasn't a live stream. It was a delayed live stream. Still live stream, but delayed. So, that, happened and wasn't great. But we learned from that and we'll move on. The good news is that Cody is super excited to have us there. You can feel it every time we talk to him. He got out there and ran the floor. He himself is a high school coach. Matt, our coach, Matt Patterson, Coach Patterson, college coach, former college coach, right? So the two of them worked really well together to run drills and stuff.
Yeah.
But it was surreal.
Yeah.
We took our ABA basketballs. You can see the ones I haven't blown up yet over this shoulder right here. Right. and my mess. We took like ABA basketballs with our logo on them out to a court with a 7 or 8 guys that wanted us to pay them to play basketball.
Yeah.
And like I was nervous as hell. We're trying to all this other stuff too. We got camera upgrades this week. So we were testing upgrades on our camera, upgraded software like we're doing tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm nervous. And I said that, the stream before, super nervous about this tryout. And like the players were nervous, which I kind of didn't think about and didn't expect until I got there. But like, guys like Joe, they're like, yeah, I'm trying to continue my basketball career. So it was cool. And like standing there in the tryout, talking to coach, talking to the players, trying to evaluate the team, learning about evaluation from Coach Patterson, right? Like I'm not a huge basketball guy. You're not either. As far as like our background, right?
Right.
And so like learning from him, learning what to look for. There's a couple times I was like, oh, that guy looks really good. That guy doesn't. And they're like, no, you're wrong. Like it's actually the opposite of that. And here's why. And why these drills matter. It was super cool, super great learning experience, but also like to find a great player like Joe, 6'4", 245 pounds, guard, probably play the 3 as well. Was a great outcome. Like I said, there's a couple other guys in there that will be back in our October camp that we're gonna keep working to see if they're ready. But Joe just like popped out to me on both in person and on the film.
Yeah.
That dude's big. People don't realize, you can't see on the screen, but like that dude is like, he's man sized. He's ready to play some basketball, and he was lighting it up, man. He was hitting every shot, so it was cool to see.
Sure.
What about you? What'd you think?
Man, yeah, from the outside perspective, I was, like you said earlier, just wishing that we would have been able to do what we wanted to do with that first event, just go live and everything. But other than that, man, I was on pins and needles. I was messaging you every other minute, like, hey, where are we at? What's this going on? Just let me know what the inside is. Drop it in. Drop the film in the drive already. I know we're still live, but drop it already.
I know. If I could, I would have. I was like in the car, and you're like, dude, give me the film. I'm like, man, I gotta go to a baseball game. You gotta wait 6 hours.
I stayed up from 10 p.m. to 2:30 a.m. that first night watching film back to back to back. No joke. I was that excited. The first one was like a blur. First time watching it through, because it's the very first time watching our tryouts, and like you said, players on the court with our balls for our team potentially making our roster and just everything along those lines, right? So the second time I was like, okay, let me try and get that emotion out of the way and watch film, right? Then I think I did pretty good that second time. And then third time I was like, let me double back around just to make sure that what I'm feeling in the second time ain't still attached to the first time, right? But overall, there's probably a few players that, like you said, still have a very, very solid chance of making our roster at the moment. We really wanted to make some big news first and foremost and get Joe onto our roster and have an idea of what we're building around. We wanted to get that done quick. So that's such a huge, huge thing for this franchise and for the fans as well, because we've touched on this all show long as well. This is all about you guys as well, for the fans. You guys play such an important role in this franchise, and we want to give you guys as much fresh content and updates as we possibly can every single time we come onto the show. So, I think that was just a huge thing as well. And just keeping everybody informed, keep everybody informed. So, as far as the tryouts, I think like the positives are the fact that we got over the hump of that first milestone. That's huge. And we also set our standard for the roster that day. We know what we're looking for now that we've seen those players live. We know what we're after. We had an idea of that heading into the tryout, but just being able to see it, really solidified it really for the entire franchise, for coach as well. And then I think like the only negative is like you mentioned earlier, just the Wi-Fi situation, which all things considered, I'll take that. I'll take that. Went green on me for a minute.
I know. I saw that. I was like, what happened to me?
But
Messed up.
But yeah, no, I think out of everything that could have happened that day, I'll take Wi-Fi being the worst thing that happened all day. All day.
Yeah, totally. Just getting through the first tryout was something it's still early. We don't start playing games. Our first game is on November 5th. It's a home game against the Chicago Rebels. Just drop that little bit of content.
Yeah.
So we got a little time to find our roster. Some of the things that we learned, one was, and I heard this from other ABA teams afterwards. So I reached out to some ABA teams and said, hey, we're struggling to get, and we talked about this previously, right? Like our turnout, we want a bigger turnout. We wanted 20 guys at a tryout, not 7. We want quality guys, not all those guys are ABA quality players, right? And that's going to happen in every tryout.
Yeah.
And so, they, the biggest piece of advice they said is, make sure you charge for your tryout, right? People will pay to try out if they're serious, and they will not pay to try out if they're not serious.
Right.
And I think we learned that lesson a little bit, right? And so our next tryout is October 1st. We were supposed to have a tryout this Sunday or Saturday. But we set those tryouts before we hired a coach. I was excited about the Saturday tryout because we had some players that I think are going to be really good from an affiliate league. But coach has his anniversary on Saturday, so happy anniversary to coach.
Oh yeah.
And so we were going to do it on Friday. We couldn't move enough players from the Saturday tryout to that. So we just canceled it. We stuck with October 1st tryout. Is a date that we set after the tryout. We got one player does not make a basketball team. Even if coach gets out there, if you haven't seen coach's intro video, I should put it on here. Dude was crossing over everybody.
Yeah.
We might have to put him on the court.
I got a mean jumper too. I'll just throw that out there again and again. I got a mean jumper, baby.
Yeah,
anyway.
Mean to us, maybe.
Yeah.
But anyway, so after that, we set a tryout for October 1st, 2 to 4. Folks are welcome to come. It's at the CRC. It gives us some time. So we invited, I want to say 4 or 5, maybe I think 3 or 4 of those players, back from the last tryout that I've talked to. We and coaches talked to. We've done some crazy good reach out this week to some players to try to really boost that October 1st tryout. We got invited to a pro-am next month. We're going to go check that out, coach and myself and a couple of the other founders. To go see some players. So we're getting good leads. Obviously what we're doing is working, right? Because Joe found out about us at his rec league.
Yeah.
Right, from the coordinator of his rec league. So that stuff's working. We got to double down. Coach is going to help us on that as well as far as recruiting players. So we can get players that we can compete the first year. Coach is the number one thing Coach Patterson said on Sunday. And, in the text following up with us is like, he wants to be competitive year one. He doesn't want to just field a team.
Right.
Which, is exactly where I am. I know it's exactly where you and the rest of the founders are.
Yes,
so, we got one, and we'll see, how many more we can get. My goal is that we have at least 10 players on the roster going into November 5th, but we can sign players all the way through the season.
Yeah.
So we're going to continue to do that. So we've been making flyers and everything. October 1st is coming up. We did hear back from another team in another league that plays in our off season that they're going to send players to our tryout and recommend them come. I actually set up a lunch meeting with them as well. So I'm hoping, maybe a more formal partnership where we actually trade our players back and forth, which helps both leagues. Because their league is, I'm not going to say the name of the league on air because I want to give any type of advantage to anyone else that might be looking for players.
I'll put it this way, it's a very, very good networking connection. Regardless.
Yeah,
for sure.
Exactly.
Definitely.
So we'll do that and we'll see some of their players. And I think that'll be great. They're really, I would say their competition level is about where we are.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Players. So that's good. So October 1st is the tryout. Coach is going to have a great weekend with his wife, I'm sure. And we're going to hit the ground. We've already hit the ground running. Dylan today was calling colleges all over Indiana, trying to get their communications directors to share our information. And we got some other folks that we need to call as well. So good stuff on the tryout side. We learned some lessons. We signed a player. We are paying our first professional basketball player.
Man, and it ain't me.
And it ain't. Thank God it's not you.
It ain't me.
So yeah. So that's anything else on the combine? I don't know that there's
no, I don't. I think that covers pretty much that base, I'm sure Jason or somebody in the chat's gonna be like, hey, what about, and we'll come back around to it. But we'll get it situated.
One of the things I really enjoyed about the tryout footage going up on the Patreon for subscribers, it's really the first bit of first bit of content that no one else is going to see, right? Like with the jersey vote, yes, if you're in the Patreon, you were voting, but other people got to submit jerseys. People got to see the bracket. Like that tryout footage is locked away. The only people that could see it is the subscribers, right?
Yeah.
But it was cool to get, I was getting DMs from subscribers in the middle of the night, just like, oh my God, this player, I'm watching this and I noticed this is crazy. And I was like, I know, this is awesome. So it was cool engagement.
Just kind of, I guess, keep on that topic just for a split second. That is one thing too. I have noticed is our content, our engagement on the content since we dropped just a very few clips on our social media has skyrocketed compared to just the average pics of our merchandise and kind of promoting everything leading up to that moment. I think we got over about 2,000 plus views just in a few clips over on Instagram at least. I don't know.
Those are the tryout clips you posted, the shorts.
Yeah, tryout clips and coach announcement. Man, so those have been really rocketing the engagement. So thank you guys again for all of your support on that end as well. And keep it up because we're going to keep it up on our end. We'll keep pushing some stuff out for you guys all day. So
one of our early goals was to set the standard for social media engagement in the APA. We're not there yet. We've posted our first basketball content this week, but man, has the response been awesome. So happy to see that.
So wild.
I don't have this on here, but I did want to give a brief update on membership.
Okay.
I thought that'd be cool to talk about.
Yeah.
We've interviewed a number of applicants who applied for membership. I think that process went really well. It's really interesting to hear from folks on the outside for the first time about the business side of what we're doing, right? We started this in January of this year informally, and more formally in March. And, it's a little bit of a groupthink project, right? We've all been in it and working on it together. So it was great to ask other people their vision for the AAC and the Instigators and where they could play a crucial role. We're going to be making decisions on some of those here in the next few weeks. We wanted to get through this tryout, but what do you think of the membership process?
Man, yeah, like you said, it's really cool just to get some not necessarily, I guess, outside opinions. A lot of them are in the loop of what's going on for the most part. They're definitely a solid part of our community, but still very good, I guess, outside of the founders group, an outside perspective of our think tank, and it's just really good to get some opinions, get some solid criticism here and there, just things that feedback, I guess, is the word I'm looking for. Solid feedback, and really cool just to be able to speak with those guys, see where their heads at with the with heading into the inaugural season for our first franchise, and things along those lines. So I think it overall it went well, and I'm excited to see where we go in to the next step in the next few weeks, and just see where that all heads. Obviously, can't go into too much detail on at the moment, but some very good conversations for sure.
Yeah, I think had we done this from the get-go, right? There's only 4 of us to start. Had I done this from the get-go and been like, all right, what skills do we need? I'd have had no clue.
Mhm.
Right? Like, I think you and I maybe were overly ambitious on how much work the two of us could do.
Yeah.
That was quality, right? Like,
Right.
and realized the need immediately of a couple other folks, but really feeling our way through like what can we handle as a team and what can we not, right? What things do we have to put on the back burner?
Mhm.
Which made, I think, the membership interviews the last couple of weeks really rewarding, because I knew, like, I think it's pretty clear to us now, like, where our deficits are and what types of skills we're looking for from members. Because remember, for those of you watching, these aren't investors. These are managers of a company that we're bringing on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they get a kickback, right? Patronage, as you know, we hopefully turn a profit. But these are people that we have to trust with a company that we started, which is a little scary, but also like really rewarding to be like, man, like I need someone that can do that skill. Like, yeah, I'm doing it now, but I F up the introduction of this thing every week. It feels like, right?
Did great
Uh,
this time. I ain't gonna lie. I love it. Anyway, sorry.
no, it's
Did
all good.
great.
But like, so, at least for me, I feel like my eyes are much more clear as to what we need and what we're looking for in skill sets. And I was really happy at some of the applicant answers
For
towards those
sure.
things. So, and
Yeah.
just people that believe in the model.
Yeah. Yep. I think it all ties, like you just said, man. It all ties right back around to the model. Just being able to give the opportunity for other people to come in and be owners of everything we have going on. It's just the purpose of it all.
Yeah.
So
By the way, in the comments, Jason asked if we could have Joe and Coach sign the his game ball that he bought. If he's willing to wait until October 1st, we'll get folks to sign it for him. We'll send it out to
yeah,
him when
that'd be cool.
that'd be
Yeah.
cool. He asked for our signatures too, but I could tell he's just doing it because we're on camera, not because he actually wants them.
I was gonna say if I'm not there, you might have to ship it out to me. I'll put mine on there too. But
Yeah. Are
you
you
know,
kidding? There's a profit margin I'm trying to watch, brother. I can't ship this thing all over this country. First of all, you need to get there on October 1st.
I know, man. Everything just going on back
I
in.
know. I get it.
Yeah.
But it's 5 weeks away. That's all I'm saying.
I hear you. I hear you. And how else am I gonna make the team? So
Yeah, no, if you don't show up to the tryout, you don't make the team. I do actually really quick want to show folks the tryout flyer that you made that is fly.
Cool. Yes, sir.
I owe you an apology, half of an apology. Because I
I'll
read
take
it. I read it before I had coffee, and it does have the registration fee on here.
Yeah.
And the link. So that's on me. So now I just want the word pro basketball tryout. Like,
I agree. When you said
man,
that, I got you.
Yeah, that'll like. I think that word like. We're having a marketing meeting here.
Yeah, for sure. Let's go over it.
Like that. That word really gets people.
I got you. It'll take 5 minutes too. It ain't no biggie.
Yeah.
I'll get it situated.
But here are the details for folks. I'm showing this because if you are a Patreon subscriber near Clinton, Indiana, or not so near Clinton, Indiana, but have 5 weeks to figure out how to get there, come to the tryout
and pick me up.
Our boy Spacely. But this flyer looks awesome. I can't wait to hang it all over the place. Can't wait to post it everywhere. Every time you all see this flyer, make sure that you're sharing it as well so we can get the greatest reach possible. All it takes is like one more, or really 9 more recreation coordinators to like see this and invite a guy that deserves it, like Joe. Right?
Yeah.
You and I had not talked to Joe hardly at all before he came to this tryout.
Yeah.
And now he's a member of the team. Hold on, I'm trying to read this. First of all, I got my new phone. It's dope. This isn't an update to this, but I got the new Pixel Fold, and it's amazing. But Jason just posted a Swoops update, and I want to read it.
Let's go
out loud because Swoops is about to start its second season, right? We picked up a rookie.
No, I believe we just started the second season.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm saying this. I lost it. I don't see it here, but But Swoops, we need to get Jason on again ahead of the second season. Jason, if you're in the comments, let us know if you're free next Friday. Let's talk some Swoop.
Yeah,
because Swoops is awesome. We got a rookie. I'm a little upset. Frosty McSpacely didn't develop as much as I'd hoped from season 1 to season 2.
Yeah, I blame the first name. Can't be the last name.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually being held down. Actually, let's agree on this. It's the Mick. The Mick is what's holding it down.
Yeah, I think yeah. I'll go with that.
Yeah,
It's whoever that guy is.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. But yeah, so anyway, he's not developing well enough. We'll talk about the coach issue there later, offline. Because we all know McSpacely, A, is uncoachable, and B, doesn't need to be coached. So if our coach is trying to coach him, it's probably the problem.
Just let him hit a 3-pointer here and there, miss the others, and that's his job.
That's all he needs to do. All that matters is the last shot he takes.
Yeah.
Anyway, man, I think that's what I have for updates. What am I missing?
No, yeah, I think really that's about the end of it. As far as like new updates, the rest of the focus is really leading up toward what's coming up. So obviously, if you're in the AAC community, there's going to be a lot of updates along the lines of our Swoops team, our Swoops affiliate, the Apex Instigators, heading into our second season. Had a good run. We didn't really get a chance to talk about that. We had a good run. We made it into the Super Bowl. Got knocked out the first round, which hurts. Kind of hurts the pride a little bit. But it was really dope, honestly, just to be a part of that mix. And I personally went through and I watched the entire Super Bowl tournament and shouting out guys all along the way, man, and just really being a fan of everything going on. So that was really cool to be a part of. I love those guys, man. It'd be super dope to have them on the show sometime soon as well.
Let's look it up.
Just talk about some Swoops, talk about the ABA, try and get our guy Trent out to a tryout and see if he can ball in real life the way he says he can. Because
I'll give him a free spot.
Yeah, for sure. And so
but also our coach is ex-military guy jacked, so don't be bad because he will make you cry.
Yeah, but you're there already. So
at least get a challenge him to a game of Instigator.
Yeah. But probably it was really dope to be a part of all of that and just watch everything roll out for that end of our first season. Got a lot of love from them throughout the entire run, so that's really cool, man. And
it was really fun talking to them when our jersey vote was going on, man. They were all about the jerseys. It was dope.
Yep. Yeah, man. So just shout out to them again and again, man. And then really all hands on deck again for the next 5 weeks or so. We begin the push to get our second tryout event now on October 1st, Clinton Community Rec Center, Clinton, Indiana. If you guys need any more information along those lines, follow our social media pages, join our Discord, join the Patreon, get your friends to join the Patreon, and just overall keep pushing the collective, man. Word of mouth really goes a long way. You've heard it from our very first player himself. He learned about the team and the franchise from word of mouth. So keep pushing, guys. It's working and it's sticking. So
that's right.
Let's just keep grinding on that.
I hear that. Well, until next time, I think that's it for episode 12. Spacely, will you hit them with our catchphrase?
Yes, sir. We are the Apex of Sports Ownership. This is the Apex Athletic Collective. Be great, instigate.